The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded for Michigan International Speedway. We see some awesome racing up front, a lot of contenders taken out early, and RFK and Chris Buescher going back to back. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race in Michigan International Speedway, the Firekeepers Casino 400. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, we actually basically had a little bit of delay at the start race by about an hour. They actually got on racetrack, but they had to come back down pit road. But once we got going, Corey LaJoie, JJ Yeley, Josh Berry, Austin Hill would all go to the rear front per the adjustments. Rain had been the forecast all weekend, and they delayed the start of the race. So once we got going, you had Cristobal lead the field from the outside and Ross Chastain on the inside. And Cristobal got a really strong restart for a second. Ross Chastain also got a good run, but eventually Cristobal was able to pass. Then on lap number 5, we saw Mark Truex Jr. get a strong run on Cristobal and was able to actually get up the second position. And then Mark Truex Jr. actually got by Ross Chastain for the race lead eventually with some really good racing up front. The first caution race to come out lap 14 for Kyle Busch, who spun in the outside wall in turn number 1. Kyle Busch was battling Ryan Blaney, I believe, for on 10th position at the time, and hit the outside wall really hard. Really unfortunate situation, just got loose below Blaney and hit the outside wall, ending his day and bringing the caution out. So then we saw a little bit of strategy where you had guys like Mark Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott stay out, while the rest leaders came down pit road. So then on the restart, you had Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside. I believe Tyler Reddick on the inside or Bubba Wallace on the inside for the restart, and we saw Mark Truex Jr. get a really strong restart and was able to clear for the lead. Then as the run continued on, Mark Truex Jr. had the lead, and then trouble strive for another playoff contender, that being Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott was having a really strong run, but unfortunately had a right rear tire go down, and hit the outside wall really hard, ending his day. And this means now that Chase Elliott will be in a must-win position and will have to win one of the next 3 races to make the playoffs. Really tough break right there. Also, Michael went down another playoff contender. He came down the road to fix some damage on the front of the car. So then we saw a little bit of strategy, again, where you had guys like Mark Truex Jr., Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, Brad Keselowski stay out. All the rest leaders came down pit road. So then on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside, with Bubba Wallace on the inside, and Mark Truex Jr. got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the lead. He pulled away from Bubba Wallace, and coming out the final corner, Mark Truex Jr. would win stage number 1. During that time, William Byron actually got on the outside wall on the last lap and got a ton of damage, and unfortunately, this would take him out of the race as he run out of DVP. He got a lot of damage, I think, broke the towing, get a bunch of other parts in the car, and this ended his day. Then we saw a little strategy on pit road where you had Chris Buescher, the first car off of pit road. Then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. also get a penalty for speeding in pit road in an uncontrolled tire. And then Mark Truex Jr., he came back down pit road basically to a close pick and had to quit stop, they think, to fuel the car up. So then on the restart, Alex Bowman lead the field from the outside with Eric Jones on the inside. And we saw Alex Bowman get a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Then the next lap, another caution would come out for Josh Berry, who was substituting for Noah Gragson after Noah Gragson has been indefinitely suspended by Legacy in NASCAR. Josh Berry hit the outside wall and get a ton of damage, bringing the caution out. Just got loose under, I believe, it was Ty Gillen or Michael McDowell. So then on the restart, Alex Bowman lead the field from the outside, with Eric Jones on the inside, and Alex Bowman got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Then we saw some really awesome racing up front between Cristobal and Alex Bowman, and then they were going side by side going turn number 1. Cristobal actually cleared Alex Bowman, but then he got loose under Alex Bowman, hit the outside wall really hard, getting a ton of damage. I thought Cristobal was going to be out of the race from this, but he was able to continue after all the damage, and despite the damage from that wreck. So then on the restart, Alex Bowman lead the field from the outside with Tyler Reddick on the inside, and Tyler Reddick got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Tyler Reddick had the lead, and then the caution would come out for light rain, and NASCAR inevitably decided they were going to try to maybe get the race back going after all the light rain came through, but unfortunately NASCAR would make the decision to go ahead and postpone the race to Monday. So now we get into day number 2 with already a lot of headlines. So engines would be fired, and Cristobal would basically come down pit road to get damaged. Basically had a little strategy when it came back to the track. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Austin Dillon, among those guys that came down pit road to top off to make sure, meaning Mark Truex Jr. would have the race lead. Then it'd be a few laps where we went back green because there were sprinkles and rain on the racetrack, but inevitably on lap 82 on Monday, we go back racing. Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the outside and Austin Cindric on the inside, with Mark Truex Jr. getting a strong run and getting the race lead. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace got a fantastic run going into turn number 1 and passed all the cars and was able to inevitably get the lead from Martin Truex Jr. So at this point, it's kind of a cat and mouse game between Martin Truex Jr. and Bubba Wallace, who at the time had the two fastest cars on the racetrack. But inevitably, after Bubba Wallace knew that he was probably not going to make it, Martin Truex Jr. got by Bubba Wallace inevitably about 20 laps to go on the stage and was able to get the race lead from Bubba Wallace. And then on lap 102, trouble struck once again for another caution for Ryan Preece, who had a right rear tire going down and would bring the caution out. Luckily did not hit the outside wall, so he was able to continue going. And then we saw a little bit of strategy where guys like Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. came down pit road. Denny Hamlin had a terrible pit stop, by the way, and got stalled on pit road during that time. But he also had strategy where guys like Bubba Wallace, Deion Swartz, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, they would all stay out. So then on the restart, Bubba Wallace lead the field from the outside with Deion Swartz on the inside. And we had Austin Dillon hit the outside wall on the restart going to turn number 1. You also had really good racing up front between Swartz and Bubba Wallace. And Deion Swartz was inevitably able to clear Bubba Wallace for the race lead. Bubba Wallace was able to fade back to the field, but you had Martin Truex Jr., who was coming up to the field. That 19 car was so much faster. It was absolutely insane. He gets by Brad Keselowski. He gets by Bubba Wallace. He gets by even his teammate, Denny Hamlin. And inevitably, coming to the white flag on the stage, Deion Swartz had the race lead, and he blocked him going to turn number 4. Martin Truex Jr. had such a faster run than Deion Swartz that he would come out the final corner, side drafting, have a drag race at the finish line side by side, and we saw Martin Truex Jr. win stage number 2 in a fantastic finish. Absolutely incredible racing up front. That 19 car was absolutely insane. So then we had a little strategy during the caution. Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick all stayed out while the rest leaders came down pit road. So then on the restart, Chris Buescher lead the field from the outside with Tyler Reddick on the inside, and Chris Buescher got a strong restart and was able to clear for the lead. Then going to backstretch, trouble strike when he had a little bit of an incident between Austin Cindric, Michael McDowell, and Todd Gillen. Todd Gillen got on the outside wall. Then Chase Briscoe, he got into the back above Alex Bowman, and Alex Bowman hit the outside wall and got a ton of damage, ending his chance and hopes of winning the race. Major tough break for Alex Bowman. Had a car easily was capable of getting the win today. Had his best race going, and unfortunately, he'll now have to go to the next 3 races looking to win. I think his chance of making the playoffs are over at this point. Really tough break right there. So then, under the caution, we had a couple guys come in. Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Austin Dillon came in to top off on pit road. So then on the restart, Chris Buescher lead the field from the outside. Actually went back green, didn't have another caution. Yet Chris Buescher lead the field from the outside with Tyler Reddick on the inside. And then Chris Buescher got a really, really strong restart and was able to hold on to the race lead. So at this point, he had a lot of strategy going on between the guys up front. So eventually on lap 156, we saw some strategic cars coming down pit road. First, Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick, they came down pit road. And Tyler Reddick actually got ahead of Chris Buescher on pit road. However, they had a right rear go down either for a loose wheel for Tyler Reddick, and he nearly brought the caution out. I was a little surprised there wasn't a caution for this, but he nearly spun out, but got to the pit road. But this would take Tyler Reddick out of contention to win this race. A tough break for him because he had a car capable of winning. So then at this point, it's basically going to be a 2-car battle between Martin Truex Jr. and Chris Buescher. And the final 20 laps or 25 laps is really a great race up front. Martin Truex Jr. is continuing to catch Chris Buescher, and Martin Truex Jr. about 14 laps ago tries to go to the inside of Chris Buescher to pass, but Martin Truex Jr. does get a little bit loose and falls way back and lost nearly a second. During this time, he also had Tyler Gillen come down pit road with a flat right left rear tire, but the race stayed green. All of a sudden, though, in the last 6 or 7 laps, Martin Truex Jr.'s car came back to life and was catching Chris Buescher in a hurry. He caught 0.2 of a second a lap. He caught in 0.3 of a second a lap, and it was a really thrilling race to the end. And as it came to the white flag of this race, Martin Truex Jr. had cut the gap down to 0.3 of a second. He was looking to the inside, looking to the outside, trying to make a move. Couldn't get there. As they're coming into turn number 3, Martin Truex Jr. tried to get a run on Chris Buescher. He had a big run getting on him, but it would not be enough. In a really thrilling finish, Chris Buescher would hold up Martin Truex Jr. by under 0.2 of a second. I think it was 0.185 seconds, and would come off the corner and pick up a second victory of 2023 and his 4th career NASCAR Cup Series victory and back-to-back wins as well for Chris Buescher. What an incredible race, and what a great finish for Chris Buescher. Congratulations to him on picking up the victory. That 17 team is absolutely back. RFK is definitely a team that is one to watch. Both cars ended up finishing in the top 5 today. They led a ton of laps, and while Chris Buescher did not have the fastest car, we'll talk about the fastest car in just a second, but they did the right strategy, played the right card, held off Martin Truex Jr. and back-to-back. I think Chris Buescher is a dark horse to win this championship. The 17 team is really quick right now. They're extremely consistent, and this team is really awesome right now. Nonetheless, massive congratulations to Chris Buescher on picking up the victory. So now we're going to take a look at the race results of today's race, and I'll give you my score of today's race. So Chris Buescher picks up the victory. Mark Truex Jr. finishes second. I thought Mark Truex Jr. was going to win this race, since Mark Truex Jr. does have a way of winning races on Monday. But not only that, Mark Truex Jr. by far had the fastest car in this race. It just seemed like they could not get around. Dirty air was a little bit of an issue for him. He couldn't get around it, but another great day for Mark Truex Jr. And this could put him in a really good position to lock up the regular season championship. He won the first two stages, but was able to finish second. Still a great day, though, for Mark Truex Jr. in second place. Denny Hamlin finished his third. Great comeback from them after their issues on pit road. They were really, really fast as well. I feel like they had something for Mark Truex Jr. and Chris Buescher, but they were a little bit too far back. But they were gaining near the end of the race. So, though, a great day for Denny Hamlin in third place. Brad Keselowski finishes fourth. Another top five. Both RFK cars finishing in the top five. I think Brad Keselowski is going to be a driver that's going to win a race sooner rather than later. Nonetheless, a great day for Brad Keselowski in fourth place. Really strong run for him. Led some laps as well. Kyle Larson finishes fifth. The last couple weeks for Kyle Larson have not gone so good. Obviously got crashed by Denny Hamlin a little bit at Pocono, and then obviously, of course, had a terrible race at Richmond, but a great day for Kyle Larson to finish in top five. Larson had probably the fastest Chevy throughout the day, so great day for Kyle Larson in fifth place. Daniel Suarez finished to sixth. A lot of ground to make up on the cutoff line today. He had his best race, I think, in a long time, so great day for Daniel Suarez in sixth place. Led laps in this race as well. Barely won a stage, but he gained a lot of points as well. Ross Chastain finished seventh. He had his best race in a long time as well, probably since his win at Nashville. They've been struggling Trackhouse, so good to see Trackhouse have the pace and speed to run up front. He led early, and he finishes seventh. Solid run for him. Kevin Harvick finishes eighth. Kevin Harvick usually runs that good, but he was terrible at the beginning portion of this race, but they made that car better throughout the day like it seems to be, and Kevin Harvick's the only SHR car, I believe, maybe to finish in the top 10. Nonetheless, a good run for Kevin Harvick in eighth place. Ryan Blaney finishes ninth. Decent run for him. Struggled in the early portion, but the car did improve throughout the day and gets a very solid top 10 finish in ninth. Eric Jones finishes 10th. Good run for Eric Jones. He had a top 5 car, in my opinion. One of his better runs of the 2023 season. Legacy, while they've struggled this year and have had a lot of issues, it's good to see Eric Jones really starting to show a little more speed recently. Good run for him in 10th place. Ty Gibbs finished 11th. He was really good early in this race. Thought he'd have a chance to win early. Car kind of faded throughout the running strategy. Was a big thing that cost him, but he think he will be pretty close to the cutoff line at this point. He finishes 11th. Austin Cindric finished 12th. He had one of his better runs of the year for sure on a non-super speedway. They've struggled all year, so good to see Austin Cindric finish in the top 15. Chris Bell finished 13th. Considering the damage they had one of the fastest cars near the end of the race. They were not able to get up there, but the finish 13th is really impressive, all things considered. But they're still looking for their first top 5 finish since Bristol Dirt, which was like 13 or 14 weeks ago. They do recover to finish in 13th. Joey Logano finishes 14th. Logano kind of struggled throughout the day, was up front early, but the car kind of faded, but he finishes in the top 15 and 14th. Corey LaJoie finishes 15th. Really impressive run for Corey LaJoie in 15th, despite having to start at the rear of the field with damage early. He finished 15th, but a good solid comeback for him in 15th place. Eric Almirola finished 16th. Ran top 10 quite a bit this race. The car seemed to fade near the end, but he finishes 16th. Harrison Burton finished 17th, ran top 10 a good portion of the race. Car faded near the end, though, because of the older tires. He finished 17th. Bubba Wallace finishes 18th. Bubba Wallace had a really good car today. It just seemed like the car near the race kind of faded throughout. They had a top 5 car, but the thing that will benefit them, they got a lot of stage points, but I believe they're only going to be like 59 or 60 points above the cutoff line. They probably would have liked to be a little bit higher than they were today, but they did get a lot of stage points. That will basically benefit them throughout, hopefully. He finishes 18th. Austin Dillon finished 19th. Decent comeback after the tire issues. Ty Dillon gets a top 20 finish. I think it's only his third top 20 finish or second top 20 finish of 2023. So good to see him have a top 20 run. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 21st. Ryan Preece finished 22nd. Justin Haley finished 23rd. Michael McDowell, not a great day, just struggled throughout. He finished 24th. Cole Custer gets solid top 25 for Rick Ware. Good finish 25th. AJ Allmendinger finished 26th. He had a terrible car today, in my opinion. Was at best about 15th. Struggled throughout the day. JJ Lee finished 27th, so both Rick Ware cars finishing in the top 30. Austin Hill finished 28th. Decent run for the Bear Motorsports team. Todd Gilliland finished 29th. After his issues, Tyler Reddick finished 30th. Tyler Reddick, I feel like, would have been in the battle with Chris Buescher and Martin Truex Jr. He probably was going to win this race without the tire issues. I don't think Buescher and Truex could have catched him near the end. Unfortunate, though, the team made a mistake. There's major pit road issues. They see it's going to cost him a shot at winning the championship. He finishes 30th. Chase Briscoe finished 31st, got some damage into Alex Bowman, crashed, bent the toe link. Josh Blinky finished 32nd. Alex Bowman finished 33rd after falling out of the race. Josh Ray finished 34th. William Byron, after crashing out, finished 35th. Chase Elliott finishes 36th. And Kyle Busch finishes last in 37th. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I'll give you my score of today's race. This race, in my opinion, was the best Michigan race I have ever seen. Sure, there were times it did get strung out. I will agree with you. But I think the racing up front, especially, was outstanding. You had a fantastic finish at stage 2. You had great battles up front throughout the stages. And you also had a pretty solid finish to end it off. I've said this about Michigan International Speedway. I don't think Michigan is the greatest racetrack in the world. The Xfinity race kind of proved that. This race, though, was really, really good. And the next-gen car the last 2 years has generally shined at this racetrack. And I'm really glad a lot of fans came back today and watched it on the second day because I thought this race was very, very enjoyable. Not just on Sunday, but on Monday as well. So my score of today's NASCAR Cup Series race at Michigan, I'm going to give this race overall a 9 out of 10. I thought this race was really, really good. You had great strategy, you had great racing up front. It was very enjoyable. Clean air still mattered a lot for sure, but it was an enjoyable race. I'm giving today's NASCAR Cup race a 9 out of 10. So, that is going to be today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Michigan International Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so you know if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link in the description below with that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Chris Buescher on going back-to-back here at Michigan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have a doubleheader on the channel. We'll have the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Truck Series race fix for the Indy Road Course and IRP. Then on Wednesday, there's going to be a massive NASCAR news video on the channel. Then on Thursday, I have a race fix for the Cup race at Indy Road Course, followed by the SRX race at Eldora. Then on Friday, we are going to have a NASCAR news video on the channel. And then also the truck race review as well. Got a lot of content on the way, and I think you're going to enjoy. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.